Hey everybody, this is Nate, and welcome to the Preuss Sports Podcast. This is the October issue, issued on the 5th of October, 2022. And today's topic is the San Diego Padres, who have finally broken their playoff curse. For the first time in 16 years, in a full 162-game season, the Padres have made a playoff berth. And so, this Friday, they will go to Queens to play the New York Mets. And after that, if they do pass the Mets, they go up against the LA Dodgers. And if they do beat the Dodgers, they either face either the Braves, the Cardinals, or the Phillies to get to a World Series. So this is a really great feeling, it is a really great feeling that this team, who has gone through such up and downs this season with inconsistency with the bats. Bob Melvin had a health scare. Fernando broke his wrist, and then he got popped on PEDs. And I don't know. It's been a roller coaster season. It's really been a roller coaster season. And it's such a great feeling that it's finally over, that the curse is finally over, that we made the playoffs, like an actual playoffs, not really a playoffs that you can say has an asterisk to it. And it's going to be a long road. We're going to be in Queens. We're not going to be playing in San Diego. We're not probably going to not be playing San Diego unless we go to the NLDS against the Dodgers. So, everyone's looking good. Soto's starting to heat up. Manny's been being Manny. Jake's been playing good. And Joe, you, and Blake, they've been great. And those are our three starters that are going to be playing in the Wild Card Series. So the Wild Card Series is going to be between us and the Mets in Queens, New York at Citi Field. So the starting pitching is really good. That's like what most people have been talking about all year for the Mets. All year, people have been talking about how good Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer, how much of a power duo that would be in the rotation. And so how it's looking is that they're going to start Max Scherzer the first game against Yu Darvish. Then third game, they're going to play Chris Bassett. So basically, the Mets' plan is, if they do beat the Padres, they want to save up Jacob deGrom for the Dodgers. And right now, we're going to go with everything we got against the Mets. So the first game is going to be Yu Darvish. Second game is going to be Blake Snell. Second game, I always think, is the most important game. And third game is going to be Joe Musgrove on the mound. Now, of course, with the Mets team right now, with Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Eduardo Escobar, all those players in the bullpen, it kind of looks a bit scary. But this season, we've had their number. We've been able to take 4 out of 6 against the Mets. One series at home and one series at Citi Field. And we nearly swept them. Last time we played in Citi Field. So I'd say that anything can come up to chance. Anything is going to come up to chance, especially in the playoffs. Playoffs, it's not really about who's the best team. It's really not. The Dodgers, they're going to be the favorites, of course, because they're the best team in baseball. But are they going to play like the best team in baseball in October? October is a completely different thing than the regular season. And there have been a lot of champions, a lot of the World Series teams. They weren't even the best team in baseball. 2001, the Mariners, they came off of a 116 winning season. They didn't steamroll the playoffs. They lost. They lost in, I think, the ALDS. The ALCS or ALDS, I think. And the team that won was the Yankees. The Yankees won that. Not the Mariners. Not even the best team in baseball won it. the best team in baseball last year was the Giants. The Giants, they didn't even make it past the NLDS. They lost it against the Dodgers, and then the Dodgers lost against the Braves. The worst team, the worst team in the playoffs. I think it was the worst team in the NL. In the NL, it was the Braves. They were like, nobody considered the Braves. Everyone was considering the Astros, the Yankees, the Dodgers. The big names. But the Braves, they did it without Ronald Acuna Jr. And if they can do it without Ronald Acuna Jr., then the Padres, we can probably do it without Tatis. And from the locker room, everyone has been so happy, and even Ha-Seong Kim said it himself, is like, we're not here to just like go and play playoffs. We're just here to win the whole thing. So everyone feels confident about how they're gonna play, and it's great. It's great. But I think that the Padres are gonna be a bit of a sleeper team. I don't think that nobody really thinks about San Diego being like the World Series winning team. Everyone like wants to, to see them as that, because they've always been like the underdog. We've always been the underdog city. Nobody ever believed the Chargers. Nobody believed the Clippers. We, as a sports city, or as Mr. C says it best, is a symbol of mediocrity. But what happens when that team that was mediocre, what if they win it, And it's crazy. It's crazy that sorry, cough. And it's crazy, It really is crazy. So I think we're gonna play like we have a chip on our shoulder. I think that's how they're gonna play, because nobody in the NL thinks that the Padres are gonna even make the World Series. We've had such an up and down season. Soto, he hasn't been the best. He hasn't been like Juan Soto, but anything can happen in the playoffs. You've had your World Series heroes like Marcell Ozuna, Jorge Soler, and Juan Soto, especially in the wild card. We can see it again. And when the Nationals won it in 2019, they were the wild card. They started off with this. They had a terrible start, but then they came back. They came back and won it. Juan Soto, Trey Turner, Anthony Rendon, Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg. We have those players that can always like come up clutch. Joe Musgrove, he has that bulldog mentality. He has that mentality of win everything, win it all, do everything you can. Really, really strategize against these teams. He always adjusts his plan against the type of players or the types of team that he plays against. He always does that. And Manny Machado, he brings that kind of X factor, He's been our best player. He's been one of the best players in the NL. This dude is having an MVP type season. He's hitting like 300, like 100 RBI, 100 plus RBI, 30 plus homers. That's MVP. But he's playing in a season with like Paul Goldschmidt hunting the Triple Crown. He's leading at nearly everything. So I can definitely see like both Manny Machado and Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado being like the big dog players in this series, in their series against, because like the Cardinals are gonna face the Phillies, and then after that the winner faces the Braves. So my predictions, to be honest, speaking honestly, the Dodgers, they have our number. They have completely dominated us. So I'd say, I think I'm confident that we beat the Mets. I'm pretty confident that we beat the Mets. And then it's either we make it to the World Series or we lose against the Dodgers. Because if we can win against the Dodgers, and I'm pretty sure we can win the whole thing. But if we don't, then we have to go back to the drawing board. Because that team has always been sort of like think of it like this. San Diego's like the younger brother, right? San Diego's the younger brother while LA's the bigger brother. And I don't really mean that as like a negative thing. It's kind of just like how it is, you know? Like LA has always been the more accomplished brother, but San Diego has always been that little brother that everyone counted out. And now they have a chip on their shoulder. Now they have a point to prove. And that point to prove is that they can win it all. That's how it is, you know? They're going to be that team that is going to have a chip on their shoulder, and that they're going to try and prove that they have it all to win it. They have it to win it. And I think they do. I think they do have that World Series caliber team on paper. But because they have stars like Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Jake Cronenworth, Brandon Drury, Josh Bell, and they have really good pitching. They have Blake Snell. Blake Snell is crazy in the playoffs. Yu Darvish, he's been fantastic. Musgrove, he earned that huge contract extension. He earned it. Then we got like those steals from the free agency market. We got Nick Martinez, who's been a utility man. If you want him to start a game, he could start you a game. If you want him to go long in relief, or you want him to like relieve a little, like maybe 1 or 2 innings, or maybe if you want him to like relieve 4, you got it. Robert Suarez, sure he came off on a rocky start, but he's been great, man. That 98 fastball, 89 changeup, he's been great. And also Tim Hill. Not a lot of people give Tim Hill credit, you know? He wasn't the best during the start of the season, but he was great for a long time. You know, he didn't allow a lot of runs. And then you also got Nabil Crismat, who has been great this season. Sure, he's had, you know, his blowouts, but that's always happens when you're a reliever for a team. And then you got Josh Hader, who came off at a really rocky start against the Padres. And now we kind of won that trade with the Brewers. The Brewers, they gave up their star reliever, their star closer. This is the guy that you're supposed to count on to close out the games. And Josh Hader, he's been that. He's been that. And even when he had to inherit runners from Tim Hill, he still managed to get the save. You know, it's that everything is looking like it just started off bad for San Diego, but now it's starting to look better. Everything's starting to look better and better. And I think that this year, the next, we can definitely make a run to the World Series. If, you know, and the point is, we made it without Fernando Tatis. We made it without him. We made it even with him breaking his wrist, even with him getting popped up on PEDs. It don't matter. We're still in the playoffs. So if we don't win it this year, if we don't make it past the Dodgers, then I'm pretty confident that we can make it the next year with Tatis. If Tatis plays like Tatis, you know, he will have that leadoff superstar. And everything hopefully will come into play. Soto will get back to how he's been in the Nationals. Every player who moves to a new team, they won't automatically be like that superstar player. They have to adjust to it. Soto needs some time. He needs some time to adjust to San Diego. Josh Bell, he has to adjust. Brandon Drury, he adjusted pretty well. He's been one of our better batters. He's been a great acquisition. And that's the funny thing, is that like the least publicized player that we got from the trade deadline was our best player from the deadline so far. Sure, I'm not saying Soto, like, sure, Mr. C like to say that, oh, he's a bum, but I think that he can definitely contribute next year. And I think that, honestly, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. That's how I see it. So, and I'm excited. I'm really excited to see how it goes out. And I think, and I'm confident. I'm confident that we can make it past the Mets. But the big question is, do we make it past the Dodgers? And if so, then I'm pretty confident that we can win the whole thing. Because if you've been watching the last few World Series champions, they've all been able to beat the Dodgers. After they beat the Dodgers, they went on to win the World Series. Last year, Braves beat the Dodgers. They won the World Series. 2020, the Dodgers won the whole thing. 2019, the Nationals beat the Dodgers. 2018, Astros beat the Dodgers to win the World Series. So, you see how it goes, right? Definitely whoever beats the Dodgers, I think they're definitely going to win the World Series. And I'm hoping that it's us. And that we make it to the NLCS. I think we might face the Braves in the NLCS. That's probably who we're going to face. And then it's either going to be either the Yankees, the Guardians, the Astros, the Mariners, or the Blue Jays. Either way, I see we can definitely win it this year. But that's just depends on how we play against the Dodgers. This has been the Preuss Sports Podcast, and I'll see you later after 2 weeks. We'll see whether or not we make it to the NLCS. Hopefully, fingers crossed.